I'm outside the Old Bailey, London's Crown Court. Can you see the figure of justice at the top of the dome there? And this was once the site of the most notorious prison in London, Newgate Prison, where hundreds of condemned men and women were held awaiting death by hanging for the most trivial of crimes. And in 1721, this was the site of a fascinating and grim experiment that advanced our understanding of smallpox and proved, at least in Britain, the first step in defeating the scourge of this terrible disease. But before I explain what happened here at Newgate, let me set the scene. We're in the early 18th century, when the weather was, I have no doubt, as foul as it is here today. And this was the age of periwigs and beauty spots, and the mortality rate for smallpox across Europe stood at about 500,000 a year, so it's a constant fear in people's lives. And into London society at this point returned a traveller, a remarkable woman by the name of Lady Mary Wortley Montagu. She was the wife of the British ambassador to Turkey. And whilst in Turkey, she had seen something very interesting: smallpox parties, in which Turkish people got together and inoculated their children against smallpox by introducing a weak strain of the disease into a scratch on their arms. It's a bit like getting a flu jab. The idea is you suffer a mild dose of the disease and it boosts your body's natural immunity to protect you against a more violent attack of the disease later in life. Anyway, Lady Mary is a convert. She has her children inoculated, and word reaches the Princess of Wales, Caroline of Ansbach, and she wonders whether she should have the royal children inoculated. But before going ahead, infecting the heirs to the throne with a deadly disease, she needs proof. And so the story turns here to Newgate. I'm right down underneath the Old Bailey now. I'm in the sub-vaults. And this, apparently, is all that's left of the original brickwork of old Newgate Prison. And it was somewhere down here in 1721 that 6 condemned prisoners were made an extraordinary offer: submit to a gruesome experiment, deliberate infection by a deadly disease, and if they survived, they'd have their sentences of death overturned. And so, one by one, watched by some of the great medical minds of the day, they stretched out their limbs, and cuts were made on both arms and the right leg, and live smallpox matter was introduced into the cuts. They must have been terrified. It was the first controlled experiment in immunology in British history. The physicians who watched made meticulous notes on the effects of the smallpox on the 6 condemned. In the days that followed, they noted the emergence of symptoms, spots, pustules, as the inoculations ran their course. But the results were remarkable. A mild reaction, but nobody died. And thereafter, immunity from smallpox for life. The chief physician concluded, "The thing has been successful. I believe them to be, in all respects, safe from any future infection." And 6 condemned felons walked free.